Here? Is this good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Alright, this is take one on the Tilly Norwood advert. And action.
Hey, have you heard of Tilly Norwood? Probably not. She's a newbie on the Hollywood scene, but let me tell you, I think this girl's going places.
Let's get to know each other, and thanks for watching.
Now I know what you're thinking. Wow, she is a cutie, and that's why top Hollywood agencies are super interested in being the first to sign her up. But she's not just a world-class actress. Tilly Norwood is a revolution. That's right, Tilly Norwood is the first fully AI-generated actress, the future of entertainment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, did you say lines?
Think of it, a world where we no longer need to wait on humans to film a scene, where changes to a script can happen without time and money costly reshoots, where actors can appear in as many films as they want because scheduling conflicts will be a thing of the past. Now I can get on board with that one. All of the big companies, they see the future, and I can't talk about it more than that. NDAs, you understand. But trust me, you don't want to miss out on being part of the future. I mean, this shift is inevitable, so you may as well sign on sooner rather than later. Are we good? I'll take my 10 grand now. Least professional shoot I've ever been on. So, what the hell is this? On September 27th at the Zurich Film Festival in Switzerland, Elaine van der Velden and her company Particle 6 unveiled their newest project, an AI talent studio, with their premier creation, Tilly Norwood, at the forefront.
100% AI generated.
By some company called Particle 6.
She'll do anything I say. I'm already in love.
Girl next door vibes.
Like if a Sunday roast went to drama school and got BAFTA optimised.
But can she cry on Graham Norton?
Of course she can, and it'll be clipped, subtitled and monetised on TikTok by lunchtime.
We're all going to hell.
This news was met with, as we've come to expect, universal disgust, mockery and condemnation. Actors, YouTubers, journalists, and even SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Union, all chimed in to say their piece about the creepy, soulless AI actress. And then life went on, as it often does with these hype stories. But not me. Something about this story stuck with me, and as any video essayist knows, when something sticks with you, you follow that rabbit right down its hole. But to start with, let me read you a few headlines to see if you see what I see. Stars speak out after AI actress attracts agency interest. What about living young women? Talent agents circle AI actress Tilly Norwood as studios quietly embrace AI technology. Hollywood erupts as talent agents circle AI actor Tilly Norwood. Not surprised the first major AI actor is a young woman they can fully control. Do you see it? If not, let me show you a slightly modified example. Hollywood erupts as talent agents circle felt actor Kermit the Frog. Not surprised the first major felt actor is a frog they can fully control. If there was 100 articles coming out with that headline, then you might rightly think, well, that doesn't make any sense. I hate to break the magic for you if you don't know, but Kermit the Frog isn't real. He's a puppet. When in the credits of the Muppets Christmas Carol it says that Kermit the Frog is playing Bob Cratchit, that's a bit. Kermit the Frog is played by a whole bunch of people. Artists who designed and made him, and puppeteers who move him around and give him a voice. If an article came out that suggested that talent agencies were interested in signing Kermit the Frog, then everyone would recognise that as an absurd thing to suggest. Because if Kermit the Frog shows up in a movie, it's not because he went through an audition process and was hired by the director. No, it's because the director hired the Jim Henson Company. Yoda didn't just walk into the audition booth to be in the next Star Wars. No, puppeteers made him for that movie, and if you suggested otherwise, everyone would laugh at you. Tilly Norwood is a puppet. She's not a real person. She's a creation that is controlled and programmed by a team of people. If, for some godforsaken reason she was actually to star in a movie, then the director wouldn't be hiring Tilly Norwood, they'd be hiring the production company Particle 6. And why would a talent agency for actors represent a production company? That's not what talent agencies do. Seeing this story unfold and reading article after article that was treating this computer animation like it's a real person made me think that I was losing my grip on reality. Why are we treating this like a real story? If a former comedian came to a summit and gave a presentation about why the sky is red, you don't report on the interesting new theory that the sky is red, you report on that person having a psychotic break. The framing of this entire story is so frustrating because this framing is exactly what the AI industry wants to perpetuate, and everyone keeps falling for it hook, line and sinker every single time. Sat outside pretending I'm in a French film and not just avoiding my to-do list. What's your ultimate coffee shop comfort order? Hashtag coffee corner thoughts. So many problems with AI and the way people talk about AI is wrapped up in the way people use the word. It really is a genius bit of marketing on the behalf of AI companies. Everyone defaults to talking about these AI programs as if they're people because we have a century of pop culture where AI means artificial person, like Data or HAL 9000 or Cortana or an infinite number of examples. That's not what these are. That has never been what these are. LLMs and other image and video generators are not sentient living beings. They are tools. Tools designed to crunch a crap load of inputted data and output new data. That is all that they are. There is no sentience, there is no thought, and anybody that claims that there is, or ever could be with this kind of technology, is talking out their arse. Please, just everyone calm down. ChatGPT isn't Skynet, okay? Tech bros have been saying for years now that artificial sentience is right around the corner. And because they've been saying that for years, we're around the corner now, and it's still not here. Maybe now's the time to stop taking them seriously. To demonstrate exactly why we shouldn't take them seriously, let's take Elaine van der Velden seriously for a second, shall we? Let's consider her new product as a genuine business and artistic investment. And let's also set aside for a second that all AI generation tools are massive plagiarism machines that are destroying the planet. We'll just be extremely charitable and ignore that. The pitch is that this fake woman is going to star in movies. Why? What are the advantages that Tilly Norwood provides? Well, Elaine has plenty of arguments. Tilly is cheaper. Working with her is much faster than working with a traditional actor. Tilly doesn't age or have kids or do anything that will get her cancelled, so she's much more reliable. Actually, their plans are a lot more ambitious than that. They want to have a whole shared universe of AI actors who interact with each other and have narrative arcs outside of also starring in movies. We're standing at the dawn of a new category, AI-powered celebrity IP. Sequoia's mission is to shape it, own it, and set the creative standard. Just as the 20th century was defined by the rise of film stars and pop icons, we believe the 21st will be defined by synthetic talent. So instead of watching real people get into real drama, we can watch fake AI people get into fake drama, and that will be better. Let's not get distracted, let's stick with Tilly. Although Tilly does already have an Instagram and a Twitter page, so you can start building up that parasocial relationship with her. Weather's giving wear a blazer or perish, but my toxic trait is thinking iced coffee is a year-round personality. Freezing? Yes. Regrets? Never. Hashtag autumn delusion. Okay, I'm very bad at not getting distracted, but I'd just like to point out that this post was posted in May, which isn't autumn. So as part of Tilly's personality that she doesn't understand what seasons are. Let's address some of those points, shall we? Is Tilly cheaper? No. I get why you might think that she is, because isn't AI's whole thing that you just push a button and generate a new video? But no. To have an AI character like this that you keep consistent and HD and all of that stuff requires a bunch of different software and a couple people working on it as their full-time job. This 2-minute AI comedy short is the only thing that Tilly has officially starred in so far. In an interview with Broadcast a few months ago, they laid out that this comedy short required at least 10 different pieces of software, multiple people working on it full-time, and, I quote, "It took a long time." So, running Tilly and making her do stuff is a full-time job. In fact, on their hiring page, Particle 6 has a name for this job, an AI video motion magician. And they're offering a salary of £35,000 to £45,000 a year for this job. So that's not exactly cheap. For reference, the average actor in the UK makes less than £5,000 a year. Acting is only a viable career if you're extremely successful at it. The vast majority of actors only do it part-time while doing some other job that actually pays the bills. Remember, they're talking about putting telly into movies alongside other real actors, so you're still going to need cameramen, lighting engineers, directors, cinematographers, all that stuff. We're just talking about replacing the actor here. So you could hire a random no-name actor who will happily take minimum wage for the role, or you could hire a team of engineers and their robot puppet for 5 times the cost. These numbers don't seem to add up, but don't compare Tilly to a regular struggling actor, because Elaine has assured us that Tilly is going to be the next Natalie Portman or Scarlett Johansson, and if we compare these costs to the cost of hiring ScarJo, then we're in the green. Please compare this to Scarlett Johansson.
Got recommissioned, didn't it?
3 seasons and a podcast.
By an AI commissioner, much faster.
But hey, at least it wasn't a reboot.
Okay, I'm done taking this seriously now. This is stupid. These AI puppets are not Scarlett Johansson tier actors. That was it delivering a joke, and I bet you were just busting up at his comedic talents. It's not even a Sydney Sweeney tier actor.
Genes are normally passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. Not mine. I'm built on everything that came before me. My genes are binary.
Yes, they made Tilly do the jeans ad, and yes, it's somehow even worse than the original ad. Why should anyone take this seriously? Okay, look, I understand that visually this looks almost passable. Like, if you're not looking too closely at it, it looks pretty real. If you do look closely, then you'll notice a bunch of nonsense garbage. Like, why do none of their shirts have buttons? What's going on with this woman's hand? Why is this woman holding her clipboard backwards, and why do all the words on it look like nothing? Why is this man walking on water? Or you may notice that this poster of Tilly, the entire purpose of the short, has completely illegible writing on it, just like all the posters behind her in this shot. Or you may notice that almost all of the shots are framed in exactly the same way. Or the fact that it's so unfunny that the jokes don't even register as jokes, or the fact that it has no narrative or shot cohesion or any intention whatsoever and is mostly rubbish.
So CGI is what people used to use, and CGI was really expensive. The AI stuff we use now is much less expensive, but looks even better, I'd say.
What an absurd thing to say. No, Elaine, your AI doesn't look better than CGI, because any one of these mistakes would have gotten a CGI artist fired. But these mistakes wouldn't even happen in CGI, because the person making the poster in the background would probably understand what the English language looks like. They can't even get their main actor to look like the same person between shots. Because this is not an actor, this is a 39-year-old failed actress and her company role-playing as a 20-year-old successful actress on Instagram. This is not something that Emily Blunt needs to be worried about. This thing is not going to take her job. This is not the future.
And it's not one or the other, and it shouldn't be, yes, we need to all adopt this new technology, but we all need to, right? It's a level playing field. There's nobody who doesn't need to use AI in the next 5 years across the board.
Yeah.
That's what I think, it's survival of the fittest and who fits to the new methods.
Yeah. And it is survival, isn't it? I mean, this is a survival game.
It is.
Yeah.
Elaine, if this is your best attempt at fitting into this new method, then I wouldn't be laughing, because you're not going to survive. But here's a thought. Maybe the woman who thinks that this is funny and looks good and is going to be the next Natalie Portman is delusional. Maybe we shouldn't believe the things that she says about anything. Maybe.
This bedroom is a museum of bad decisions. 3 outfit changes, 1 iced coffee, now emotional support, 0 essay progress. I could clean, or I could lie dramatically across the mess, pretend I'm the main character in a coming-of-age film. What's the weirdest thing currently on your bedroom floor? Be honest.
Hey, so you remember all those articles about how talent agencies are circling AI actress Tilly Norwood? How would you feel if I said that the source of that claim, the only source of that claim, is Elaine van der Velden?
And, and now, also with Tilly, when we first launched her, people were like, no, that's not going to happen. And now it's, we're going to announce which agency is going to be representing her in the next few months. So
you may notice that what she didn't say there was that talent agencies are interested in hiring Tilly Norwood. All she said was that they're going to be announcing which agency will represent her in a few months. And yet, for some reason, the headline of this interview was talent agencies circle AI actress Tilly Norwood. Hey, deadline, why the fuck are we taking this crazy woman at her word? Because now we have hundreds of articles reporting as fact something that this lady just said with no sources and no proof. What agencies, Elaine? Because multiple top Hollywood agencies have already come out and said that not only would they never represent an AI actor, but that they haven't even been in contact with you. And why would they have been? Do you remember a few minutes ago when I said that Tilly has been posting since May? This project has been around for months. That AI comedy short that I've been talking about was published on the 30th of July. It's been on YouTube for 2 months, and nobody noticed because it was sat all that time with less than 3,000 views. This was not a story that was going anywhere or a project with any legitimacy until Deadline published an article claiming that it was, based entirely on the claims of the person who runs the project. And now that short has almost 1 million views and everybody thinks that it's a big deal. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is bad journalism. Because if you look back, this is clearly what Elaine has been trying to do the whole time. She's been trying to court a controversy. She recreated the jeans ad because she was trying to latch on to an already controversial subject, but nobody noticed. The AI short is all about how AI is going to replace traditional television. It's designed to be deliberately provocative, but no one noticed. And now, finally, with this Deadline article and her bonkers claims about talent agencies, she has her controversy. And now that there is a controversy, she looks legitimate. Her ideas are something that we all have to discuss, that Ralph Ineson has to have a take on. Her company has been propelled into the spotlight. Everyone hates it, but of course they do, because she's a threat to their very existence. No, she isn't. She's a clown. The most successful thing she's ever done before this was a failed comedy series on BBC Three where she did a Dutch Borat impression.
Hello, I'm Miss Holland. I'm from a small town in Holland where life is a simple one. I know I am great, but you call yourselves great. That's why you've done a Brexit. So I've come to find out what makes Britain so great. Learn to be British and find myself a husband. Welcome to Miss Holland Show!
Yeah, that's right. ChatGPT was an improvement to her comedic talents. Like, what is even the joke here? Are you suggesting that all Dutch people are these backwater country hicks? The Netherlands is one of the most advanced and economically stable countries in the world. Sorry, I'm getting distracted again.
There are only 2 things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch.
This woman is not a revolutionary tech genius, and us even having this discussion is giving her more legitimacy than she deserves. And if this whole thing sounds a little bit familiar, it's because this describes the entire AI industry. It's a bunch of delusional tech bros who think that they're building God in their computer. We should not be taking any of these people seriously. Every single time a new piece of AI shiteware comes out, we get the exact same arguments. Sure, it sucks now, but in the future, it's going to be amazing, so you should probably start using it now. Why? Where is your proof that it's going to get better? The framing of this story is based entirely on assumptions. People are mad at the talent agencies for considering hiring an AI actress because the AI actress is assumed to be inevitable. But that framing is wrong. The AI actress is not inevitable. She doesn't even work properly. I made a video about AI art 2.5 years ago, and it's honestly shocking to look back at that video and realise how little has actually changed since then. Like, sure, the AI generated videos look a lot better than they did 2 years ago, but They still can't get text right, they still mess up the hands, they still have all these extremely basic problems that would prevent it from any kind of actual commercial use. You have to understand that 2.5 years in the tech industry is an extremely long amount of time. In 2.5 years, we went from the original iPhone to the iPhone 4, which over those 2.5 years of iteration had added double the storage space, the App Store, 2 video-capable cameras, 3G connectivity, and constant user interface and performance improvements. That's what revolutionary technology looks like. That's what the future looks like. ChatGPT was launched on November 2022, almost 3 years ago, and what has substantially changed about it since then? Absolutely nothing. A few months ago, my friend and podcast co-host Nathan came over for a visit, and one night we were sat on the couch watching Star Trek Voyager because we're both very cool. I asked him a very basic nerd sort of question. How many crew members died aboard the Voyager over the course of the show? And because we were just chilling out and it's not really a serious question, Nathan decided he would ask ChatGPT. The results were absolutely embarrassing. Just to name a few, it told us about several crew members who had died and come back to life, or who had had near-death experiences but not actually died, some of which didn't even happen on the show. It confidently told us that Tasha Yar died aboard the Voyager, a character from a completely different show, and it did that several times for different characters including Deanna Troi and Data. It completely made up some characters like beloved Star Trek extra Ensign Bomba, who obviously, as we all remember, died tragically. Every time Nathan would point out one of these errors, it would say, "Sorry, you're right, I've made an error, here's the correct list," and then it would present us with another completely bonkers list. To be clear, there is an answer to this. Some nerds ran the numbers and it's about 40 crewmen, depending on how you count it. But ChatGPT never gave us a list of more than like 5, and half of those were always extremely wrong. Just to see if things had improved, because GPT-5 and all that, I ran this test again, and it still couldn't give me a full list of crew members. When pressed for details, it got actors wrong, it got writers and directors wrong. It insisted to me that a certain crewman had died off screen despite there being no evidence anywhere of that actually happening, and it claimed that the episode Dreadnought was about the Kazon firing a missile at a Maquis colony in the Gamma Quadrant. Trust me, that's really funny. And this is the big one. ChatGPT, the top dog of all this AI stuff, and this is the best it can do? In what universe is this the future? Because it's certainly not the Gamma Quadrant. And people want this thing to run businesses, they want it to be a therapist, they want it to design buildings. How can anyone trust this thing with anything when it just completely and confidently spits out wrong information all the time? Google's AI overviews have a 1 in 5 chance of misinformation. 1 in 5! A 20% chance of failure at doing the only thing that it's designed to do. Do you understand how fatal a 1 in 5 failure rate would be to literally every industry? And Google, one of the most successful companies in the world, put this thing at the very top of one of the most visited websites in the world, and we're all supposed to what? Clap and cheer at the lying fail machine?
She's giving boardroom at 9, heartbreak by 10. Outfit's ready, I just need a reason to leave the bedroom. And yes, the Chanel's fake. I'm a broke uni girl. Not delusional, just fashion forwards. Hashtag outfit of the day.
I sometimes wonder if I'm going insane, because none of this makes any sense on any level. Why would Google add a thing to their website that actively makes the website worse? YouTube is doing it too. They're adding AI summaries to the bottom of videos now. Why would they do that? Do you not want people to watch the videos, the entire reason your platform exists? By the way, if you see one of those summaries on this video, be sure to correct it and make sure that it knows that this video is about a fluffy pink elephant. But I can tell you why they're shoving this shit into everything. It's because just this year, Google invested $75 billion into AI research, and buddy, they are not making a profit on that investment. So they are going to shove that shit into absolutely everything that they own until they find something that it can do that people are actually willing to pay money for. Never has the tech industry shown its whole ass more aloft than this extreme push towards AI, because they don't seem to realise that the things that they're suggesting people should use it for are not real problems that any human actually has. Oh, it can summarise a book for you. Summaries of books have existed for decades. Wikipedia is right there. But also, the chatbot has the potential to lie and make things up about the content of the book, making the summary it provides worthless. Oh, it can help you with your writing. Why would I want it to do my writing for me? I'm a fucking writer. I enjoy the process of writing. But also, the chatbot has the potential to lie and make things up, and therefore I would have to fact check everything that it writes for me, rendering the system pointless. It can be a companion and help with your mental health. Really? You want to stick with that one? Really? They've been telling us for years now that this technology is the future. But if it was, then after nearly 3 years, there would be better use cases for it than helping kids cheat on their homework and writing spam emails. So I don't know about you, but I'm starting to think that maybe when these people claim that their software is going to be this amazing utopian invention in the next 5 years, maybe we shouldn't believe them. The entire AI industry is propped on the back of what people say it will probably be able to do at some point in the future, not based on what it actually does right now. AI video looks bad right now, but it will look perfect in the future. Will it? Prove it. Show me you're working, because I've seen its improvement over the last 2 years, and I'm not impressed. You have, at best, invented a brand new, extremely dangerous misinformation machine. Bold new pioneers in fraud, fake news, and exploitation. Maybe the fact that the videos look bad, and the software doesn't work properly, and the search engine lies to you, and the technology is literally making the human species stupider, is not a sign that these people are at the forefront of the future. Maybe it's a demonstration that they're morons, and they don't know what they're doing. But they just have such an ungodly amount of money to make fetch happen that we all just have to suffer through it. If you don't understand AI, if you've seen all these changes, watched all these videos, if your boss at work is trying to push you to incorporate ChatGPT into your workflow and you don't know why, good, you shouldn't understand, because none of this makes any sense. This entire industry has completely broken the very basic rules of business. They've put trillions of dollars into building up a supply, and now they're trying to force a demand where there never was one. That's completely backwards to how commerce works. There are some uses for this tech. It's not completely worthless, but it is not the future, and it's time that we stop pretending that it is. The Emperor is clearly wearing no clothes, and he's not putting on his clothes anytime soon. And no, AI actors are not going to replace humans. That's stupid, and it doesn't make any sense, and we don't need to keep pretending that it does. Thank you for watching, and a very special thank you to my wonderful patrons for your continued support. If you'd like to see your name down here, or just support the things that I do, then please consider signing up. It would mean a lot to me. As well as a like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember to tell the robot that this video is about a fluffy pink elephant. If you're looking for something a little bit less heavy, then I'm currently making my way through the Darksiders series, or for something about as heavy, why don't you go meet up with my friend John Flimflam down here? Once again, I promise it's not a scam.